Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Dagon. This is sort of a Halloween special-esque game. Dagon is a Lovecraftian monster. HP Lovecraft made Cthulhu and some other stuff. I really like Lovecraft stuff, but I'm not personally familiar with the monster of Dagon, and this was free on Steam, so I thought I'd give it a try. If it's cool, we may make it a series with the DLCs. Considering my one worry is considering how crappy my computer is, there may be lag. Let's just try. Dagon is a faithful, interactive adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's work, focused on story and atmosphere. You will not find difficult choices, action sequences, or inventory management here, and movement is limited to progressing through locations along with the plot, so it's a very sequential game. I don't really do horror games.
I'm writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
I was gonna say I don't really like horror games, but then it... Okay. That is a lot of motion blur. Let me see if I can turn the quality down. No. Resolution. It's currently at max. I have no idea what this means, so I'm gonna turn it down to this and hope that fixes something. Alright, so I'm in like a room, and I'm trying to WASD. I can't. During the game you will encounter interactive elements. Some of them will allow you to continue on your journey, others will reveal interesting facts about the original short story, its historical background, and the author. Some of the trivia is hidden. In order to find these secrets, focus your eyes and look for the Elder sign. I'm assuming that means Elder Tree, or Elder Gods. You can access all the found facts. Huh. Yeah, it's hard to... Oh, I can zoom in by right-clicking. Okay. This is cool. This is really well done. I can't turn around all the way. And again, I can't WASD, and arrow key just turns my viewpoint, which I was already doing with the mouse. Again, I hope this doesn't lag.
Penniless, and at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life endurable. I
Drugs.
can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from this garret window into the squalid street below.
Okay, then that escalated quickly. Maybe a content warning?
Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate. When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death.
Okay, so he's a drug addict, and he kind of does... He's gonna commit suicide. Morphine entered into use in the 19th century and was routinely administered to treat severe pain during the American Civil War and World War I. It was also sold without restrictions until 1914. Ouch. It became more popular after the invention of the hypodermic syringe against 1854. Frederick Surturner, I don't know. You can correct me in the comments if I get it wrong, but Frederick Surturner, who first isolated the substance, originally named it morphium after Morpheus, the Greek god associated with dreams. At the time when Dagon, the short story upon which this is based, was published, morphine abuse, known as soldier's disease, already posed a big problem in the United States. Ouch. What was that sound? Okay, he's writing something.
It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo
I hope there are no
fell
jump
a victim
scares.
to the German sea raider.
Yeah, I know, I'm not. I'm just... Sorry, I'm doing this. Yeah. It's like a Lovecraft interactive thing. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I know. Alright. I was planning to do the first one. No, the first option you presented, 30 and then 45 if she presses. Alright, so it looks like... So apparently he found, like, a German ship. I'm assuming this is that. That's a gun.
The Great War was then at its very beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their
What's
later
the Hun?
degradation. So that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners.
Oh, so Germany hadn't degraded into just savagery yet, so they took them as prisoners and took their boat. So it was more civilized than, like, World War II and stuff. The Huns. Oh, here we are. The Huns were Central Asian nomads who established a dominion in Europe and invaded the Roman Empire in the 5th century AD. They were known as brutal, deadly warriors. I'm gonna kind of paraphrase. During World War I, the British used the word Hun as a synonym for as a synonym for Germans in order to emphasize their brutality. The refusal to take prisoners was a clear breach of the laws and customs of war adopted during the first Hague. I don't know. Yeah, if you want, you can pause it and read the full thing. Yeah. And then, what's this? Like, so this was basically before they became, like, the quote-unquote Huns. So, they were more reasonable in wartime than Kaiser Wilhelm made them later. Also, this game looks really nice, and I'm surprised my computer is able to run this because it's that bad. And B, yeah, the British referred to the Germans. He did have a British accent, so I probably should have figured that out myself. What's this, a satellite? Or no, it's a lifeboat.
So
There's no
liberal,
satellite
indeed,
stuff.
was the discipline of our captors, that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone in a small
Why is
boat
that bold
with
and
water
then
and
it-
provisions for a good length of time.
Alright, bye guys. See y'all later in the war. Maybe. Yeah, this is very narrative. Like, I
When
literally
I
can't
finally
even
found myself
Hey, an
adrift and
achievement.
free, I had but little idea of my surroundings.
Uh-oh. I'm kind of scared. I'm worried there's gonna be, like, tentacle jump scares. Should I click next? I'm not sure I want to click next. I'm scared.
Never a competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely
is
by
that
the
in
sun and
italics?
stars that I was somewhat south of the equator.
I mean, probably wouldn't be able to tell that from this. I mean, wait. It depends. Is that the sunrise or the moon rise? The moon rise. Wait, it looks like this. Wait, the moon's right there, but the sun's right below it. That shouldn't be possible. Because the way the night. I'm just gonna
Of the
hit skip.
longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight.
Longitude meaning prime meridian. He doesn't know how far east or west he is. I guess. Or I am. Oh, there's something there. I was like, I thought there was nothing, and I was, oh my god, maybe I... Guys, I'm never gonna play a horror game more intense than this because I am, like, super sweaty right now. I keep looking behind me in real life.
The weather kept fair.
Oh, hey, it's
and for
daytime. That makes
uncounted
me
days, I
slightly
drifted aimlessly
feel
beneath the scorching
slightly
sun,
better.
waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land.
Nice. Oh, there's a sack here. Or not a sack. Alcohol?
But neither
maybe?
ship nor land appeared, and I began to despair in my solitude.
Oh,
upon the
I can't
heaving
even see the boat
vastness
now.
of unbroken blue.
Like, this is the limits of my FOV. Field of
The
view.
change happened whilst I slept.
Uh-oh.
Its details I shall never know. For my slumber though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
I don't know why some words are bold and italic. It makes no grammatical sense. Hello there. Can you stop breathing? It's really freaking me out. Good, he stopped. Well, this is... Okay, oh, I'm not in the boat anymore. It tipped my boat over. How you doing?
When at last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire,
so it looks
which
like
extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as
either
I could
like
see,
it seems to be multiple squids,
and in which
just
my
like
boat
trapped
lay grounded some distance away.
so I'm not sure the squids are
Though one might well
Dagon.
imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished.
Yeah, me too. I would not well imagine that your sensation would be of wonder at this freaking swamp. That looks like a robot spider. And I know it's not, but it's so weird.
For there was in the air and in the rotting soil a sinister quality
so
which
it's like mud. Ooze. Oh crap, I accidentally skipped it, which chilled me to the very core.
The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish and of other, less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain.
Hey, I can describe them. Squids. Did they not know what squids were in the late 1800s? Or I guess this was World War One, just before World War One? I don't know.
Perhaps I should
Early
not hope to
1900s.
convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity.
I mean, if it was absolute silence, we wouldn't have this ambient singing, ominous singing bowl thing.
There was nothing within hearing, and nothing in sight, save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear.
You and me both, bud.
The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty.
Yeah, why is
as
it
though
like
reflecting
black?
the inky marsh beneath my feet.
This kind of leans in close for maximum ASMR. Okay, it's another clickable thing. I was worried that there was going to be like a Dagon just rises out of the muck. Or what? I've never actually read the story. So I don't know what the Dagon is. When I saw the cover was like a squid, I thought Dagon was a squid.
As I crawled into the stranded
But it
boat,
seems that the
I
squids
realized
are...
that only one theory could explain my position.
Seems like the squids are just trapped in this ooze, and maybe it's being produced by Dagon, or maybe it is Dagon, and Dagon's like friggin'
Through some
gelatinous cube.
unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths.
I mean, maybe. Also, why is that part just pulsing? Like it's moving. And I'm not sure, considering no other part is... Yeah, no other part's moving. I'm not sure that's just like the undulation of the sea waves. Also, this game looks so good. I love... It's super stylized, and again, maybe some of you epic gamers out there have seen better, but my computer's bad. This is one of the coolest looking games, along with Subnautica, that I've been able to run on my computer. And Subnautica, I have to keep it low graphics.
So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, straining my ears as I might.
I mean, he might be right, or it might be... I genuinely can't tell whether... Like, because the writing's so archaic, and it's so different from writing... from modern writing, because language naturally evolves. If... I'm assuming this is just words taken straight from the story. I genuinely can't tell whether Lovecraft is trying to convey, like, this is what happened, or this is this guy's rationalization, and it's actually something much worse. Which, I don't know, maybe the origin story of the Elder Gods is that we're they were trapped underneath the Earth's crust. I don't know how much.
Nor were there any
is...
seafowl to prey upon the dead things.
Oh yeah, where are the gulls? Also, their squids are moving. I'm not sure how many are dead.
For several hours I sat thinking or brooding.
Oh wow,
in the
there's a
boat,
nautilus.
which
That's
lay
cool.
upon its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens.
I mean, actually, upon closer inspection, I'm not sure all of these are squids. Those two, or at least that one way in the distance. Probably not, because octopi don't grow that large, and it's definitely not the shape of the squid. That's a fish. Yeah, I just saw tentacles and immediately assumed everything was a freaking squid. Yeah, that's a squid, I think. And then this is a nautilus. I don't know. That is just a pulsing mass. Probably another nautilus. This, I want to say, is like a larger nautilus or an octopus. I mean, if I was closer, from like, you can see like near the root of the tentacles, there's like almost a shell. Oh yeah, I can zoom in, forgot about that. Which makes me think it's a nautilus. And then of course there's another small nautilus over there. There's a lot of nautili. I think this is like an upside down octopus, and I don't even want to know what that is. That might be the Dagon, because that's the only thing I see that's, aside from this giant pulsing mass, and I guess this thing, that seems like biologically impossible.
As the day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes.
So it's actually, it's ground, which is interesting. It's mud. I thought it was like some sort of oil
That night I slept
oil
little,
spill-esque thing.
and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue.
Well, if you don't take the boat, I mean, kind of a lose-lose, because when you get to the sea, you can't. You don't have a boat, but it's not like you can haul a boat over however many miles of just mud land inhabited by a Lovecraftian monster.
With ease. The odor of the fish was maddening, but I was
Why
too
is that
much
in
concerned
italics?
with graver things to mind so slight an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal.
Haha, boldly. You get it? Because it's in bold for absolutely no grammatical reason. Like, if it was like a friggin' objective in the game or something, maybe, but it's so narrative that there's none of that. Sorry, I'm not trying to, like, disparage this game or anything. It is great, except for the random
I
italics.
forged steadily westward, guided by a far
Yeah,
away
okay,
hummock
that
which
is
rose
not a-
higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert.
Wait, was that quote-unquote hummock? Was that the pulsing thing that is now no longer pulsing? Okay, yeah, this stuff... This is not... That friggin' half head crab, half squid thing is not native to Earth. Maybe he's right about the primordial ooze from the depths of the Earth. Oh my god, that's a whale. That is freaking just terrifying. Ugh.
That night, I encamped, and on the following day still travelled toward the hummock.
Oh
though
my
that
god,
object
it's like a
seemed
sea
scarcely
serpent or
nearer
a
than
giant
when I'd
worm.
first espied it.
Ugh. This is honestly kind of disgusting. For some reason, I can do like... Oh, are we gonna learn about this crap? The horrors of the ocean. The creator of the Cthulhu mythos and the fictional underwater city of Riley was convinced that life could not exist at the bottom of the ocean, because the water pressure would make it uninhabitable. Today, we know that they're home to many peculiar organisms. The Mariana snailfish is the deepest dwelling fish we've discovered. Collecting the modern photos of deep-sea creatures, anglerfish, fangtooth, or the viperfish, and their truly Lovecraftian characteristics, it's not hard to find some irony in this. That's true. The fact that he didn't think stuff could exist at the bottom of the sea, and yet he invented freaking... I would say, like, freaking Cthulhu in a way, like, oh, it's a squid monster, it's Cthulhu, as though If it were anything else, I would say freaking Cthulhu is a reference to this, but he literally invented freaking Cthulhu.
Which turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance.
Do you want to bet the mound is like...
valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface.
What do you want to bet? It's like Dagon's head or something.
Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill.
I'm worried that it's going to do a fade to black and then it's going to come out and there's just going to be a giant eye blinking at me from the hill. If it is, you owe me $1,000.
So
Everyone, all of you owe me $1,000.
But ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern
I have
plain,
32 subscribers.
I was awake in a cold perspiration, determined to sleep no more. Such visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again. And in the glow of the moon, I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day.
Uh-oh. Ooh. How unwise. So that means if he was wise to travel by day, that means something in the night, meaning does something happen in the day? Oh, maybe it's gonna be the eye.
Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me less energy.
Okay. Okay, that was a lot less than that was a lot. I thought it was gonna be how unwise I was to travel by day because there's a freaking massive eyeball staring out from this hill. But it's just, nah.
Indeed,
it's like when you walk in a desert.
I felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset.
I mean, there are benefits and negatives. If you travel by night, you don't. It's less effort, but it's also plus 20% spookiness factor.
Picking up my pack,
it's a side grade, you know.
The crest of the eminence.
Pick your loadout in TF2 reference because upsides and downsides. Oh, I'm supposed to click that. Okay then.
I have said that the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me.
Uh-oh.
But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon.
Into an immeasurable pit or canyon.
Whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to illumine.
Illumine?
I felt myself on the edge of the world.
Old English. I know it's not old English, but non-modern English is so weird.
Over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night.
Fathomless chaos of eternal night sounds like a Warhammer 40k thing.
Reminiscences of Paradise Lost.
Paradise Lost. Now, that sounds like it's a reference to something. Like, I don't know, a play or something where there's a pit or something. I'm saying or something a lot, I know. Which would make sense to be in italics, but if it's not, if it's just like him being poetic of like, I lost my paradise, I got stranded at sea or something. I'm gonna stop talking now and just...
And of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness.
Oh yeah, Satan. Remember when he was a thing and not like, you know, Cthulhu? You're gonna meet someone a lot worse than Satan soon, my dude. Have fun with that.
As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined.
Are you gonna climb down there? I would not do that if I were you. You absolute fool.
Ledges and outcroppings of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent. Whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual.
Yes, only a few hundred feet. Also, what the heck is a declivity? I'm gonna regret this. He's probably gonna regret it more.
Urged on by an impulse which I cannot definitely analyze.
So is this story, is this short story like a slow burn where it's just the monster, there is no monster and it's just like he's stranded and has to do this otherworldly landscape thing? I hope it's that. Please let it be that. Won't make for much of a Halloween special, but at least I know I won't die of a heart attack before I reach
Gazing into the
16.
deeps, where no light had yet penetrated. All at once, my
Stygian.
attention
That's
was
a good
captured
word.
by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me.
I'm assuming it's
An object
this?
that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon.
Yeah, I think it's this. Oh, or this? Why are we clicking down there? No, I don't like this.
That it was merely a gigantic piece of stone, I soon assured myself.
That's... Why is it perfectly rectangular, my dude? You've obviously never seen 2001: A Space Odyssey.
But I was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature.
You think?
A closer scrutiny filled me with sensations I cannot express.
I'm assuming sensations of horror.
For despite its enormous magnitude, and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young, I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith, whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures.
Yeah,
Dazed
probably.
and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely.
I don't like this. I'm gonna turn the ambient sounds down because that is genuinely freaking me out. What's a gamma? I don't know, so I'm not messing with it.
The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm.
Chasm. Yeah, there's definitely like some carvings on there. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. I see what this is. See, at the top, you got a bunch of sea creatures, like ones that we can recognize. There's a turtle, there's a hammerhead shark, there's a squid, and then there's this carving, which may represent humanity, I'm not sure. And then we got this wave line. Then we got weird mermaids, but since it's Cthulhu, they're more like the Marrow from D&D, just like evil mermaids. Presumably. I don't actually know a ton about the Cthulhu mythos. And then I'm assuming these are the Elder Gods. There's a very faint outline under the bottom one, which may... Huh. Yeah. Whales? I don't know why those would be, like...
And revealed
bottom.
the fact that a
I don't
far-flung
know.
body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions, and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope. Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the Cyclopean monolith,
Why is it Cyclopean?
on whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures.
Again, it looks so good. The game. And the monolith. And the water. This thing is very spoop. Perfect for a
The
Halloween
writing
special.
was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to me, and unlike
Yeah.
anything I'd ever seen in books.
Okay, so maybe it's not humanity.
Consisting for the
I don't
most
know what
part of
that is.
conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like.
And a toidle.
Several
My
characters
brother's favorite
obviously
animal is a toidle.
represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world,
That thing right in the middle, for
but
example.
whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain.
Ah,
It was the pictorial carving, however, that did most to hold me spellbound.
pictorial carving this? Or this? Oh, there's a monolith there. That's what the rectangle is. I couldn't see earlier because it was shining on them. Dagon contains many themes and storytelling methods that Lovecraft developed in his later works, such as telling the story through carvings, journals and characters' notes, islands emerging from the ocean, fictional beings, and deities based on real events and mythologies. It's also considered the origin of the popular Cthulhu mythos. So, this is like his first Cthulhu story? Question mark. Some of Lovecraft's other stories also conclude in a manner similar to Dagon, but let's skip the details in order to not spoil the ending. What you want to bet he's gonna come face to face with whatever the heck Dagon is?
Plainly visible across the intervening water, on account of their enormous size, were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a doré.
I don't know what bas-reliefs or doré mean, but I definitely see waves, I see the monolith, and I see weird
men,
mer
at least
people.
a certain sort of men.
That's humans.
Though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto, or paying homage at some monolithic shrine which appeared to be under the waves as well.
Hey, wait, that's the thing. It's so meta. It's like when the cereal box has a picture of the cereal box, and that cereal box has a picture of the same cereal box, and it's just cereal boxes all the way down.
Of their faces and forms.
But it's a Lovecraftian monolith.
For the mere remembrance makes me grow faint.
I'm assuming that's why they're a lot less detailed than everything else, because his memory
Grotesque
is like
beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer.
Oh, or this is their faces. Yeah, okay, that's kind of sus.
They were damnably human in general outline, despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips, glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall.
Mouth tentacles.
Curiously enough, they seem to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background. For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself.
Okay, that's what it is. The whales are just chilling, and then this boy is like, no, you die now.
I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size.
I hope this story doesn't end with the frickin' Dagon just rising out of the ocean and yelling at us.
That they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe. That's not a great assumption. Some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born.
No, yeah, totally. You're totally right. I agree with everything you've said here. You're gonna freaking die.
Awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist, I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me.
I'm guessing Dagon's just gonna come out of the ground and be like...
Then, suddenly, I saw it.
Ah, crap. I didn't know I was right. And this time, the it being in bold, I think is intentional and very warranted. I am very afraid to click next. There's a vortex in the water. I'm literally... Okay, so here's how we're gonna do this. I'm gonna take my headphones off and listen to a podcast until the spoopy part is over. And then I'll put them back on. I'm not gonna be near my mic, so I will see you people whenever this ends. Alexa, play.
With only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface, the thing slid into view above the dark waters. Vast, Polyphemus-like and loathsome, it darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the monolith.
Alexa, pause. Okay, actually, this isn't this isn't that bad. It's just the sound design that's doing it for me. So I stopped the podcast. I'm gonna talk through the other end of the mic so I don't have to
About
listen
which
to
it
it.
flung its gigantic scaly arms, the while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds.
Oh, jeez. It's very humanoid. Like, more than I'd expect from, like, Cthulhu mythos. Like, Cthulhu himself is, like, a giant human-esque thing, but he's got mouth tentacles and wings. It's obviously not human. And then, like, a bunch of the others are just, like, spaghetti. Except spaghetti is green ooze. It was all a dream! Yeah, okay, that's also fair to be in bold.
Of my frantic ascent of the slope and cliff, and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little.
So it does end like a lot of Lovecraft stories. It's just, he sees monster, he go crazy. He escape, he write down, he die. I mean, I'm assuming he die.
I believe I sang a
I
great
don't
deal
like them.
and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing.
Don't like the crab legs. Jeez, why is it so ugh? Why is it like this? Why are the edges like the sky's oversaturated and the edges are warbly like heat from a barbecue or the nausea effect in Minecraft? Is this what it's like to be on drugs? Yep, let's get out of here, my dude. It's weird since I can't actually move and he is.
Great storm sometime after I reach the boat.
Since I can't actually move and he's narrating, I feel like I feel more detached than I do from like other games.
At any rate, I know that I heard pearls of thunder and other tones which
Pearls
nature
or
utters
peels?
in her wildest moods. When I came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital.
Oh, so.
Brought thither by the captain of the American ship which
Hey,
had picked
delirious
up my
but
boat in
free.
mid-ocean.
I'm not sure if you guys can see the achievement, but
In
I
my
just got
delirium,
one.
I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention. Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing. Nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
Not belief in bold. I mean, that was kind of the climax there, so I don't got a ton to say at this point, except for critiquing the bold in italics. Lovecraft is a prominent figure in the world of amateur journalism. In 1915, he published his own journal. He was a skilled wordsmith. Howard P. Lovecraft. Interesting. He was a skilled wordsmith, took criticisms to heart, but he stepped away from poetry, concentrated on weird fiction. Dagon is one of the short stories written during that period. In this example excerpt, the master of horror fiction explains his attitude towards warfare and the idea of world peace. Why any sane human being can believe in the possibility of universal peace is more than the conservative can fathom. Should the entire civilized world agree simultaneously to disarm, one or more nations would undoubtedly retain secret armaments and at the proper time take advantage of their more altruistic and less astute contemporaries in a wild career of conquest but against unarmed victims. No country is or ever can be above warfare until the basic impulses of the human animal shall have miraculously changed. Unfortunately, I kinda agree. If reading Dune has taught me one thing, it's that human nature is very hard to reverse, and often human nature is not the best. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. Alright. Let's head out. See y'all. Oh, hey, I'm telekinetic now.
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist and
Ethnologist.
amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god.
It's Dagon. I've been mispronouncing it the whole time. Darn. But he said the thing is that he said the thing that's the title of the thing. He said the Dagon. Ah. Oh yeah, Dagon's the Philistines. Dagon, Dugan, was the main deity of the Philistines, worshipped throughout the Middle East as the ancient god of fertility and crops. In Hebrew, it was a common noun for grain. The rulers of Akkad chose him as the patron saint of their conquests. He appeared as the judge of the dead in Assyrian and Babylonian. He is often mistakenly taken for a fish god. In Lovecraft's works, he is an underwater deity ruling over the deep ones, humanoid race with fish traits that reside in the ocean. He is worshipped by a secret cult called the Esoteric Order of Dagon. I love it when they literally include, like, an adjective in their name. Like, isn't that a little subjective, y'all? Hey, cello. I played the cello.
But soon perceiving
Hey, it's the
that he was
Necronom Nom
hopelessly
Nom.
conventional, I did not press my inquiries.
No, it's the Necronomicon. You can see it's the only, obviously because of the fact that it's the only book with like a readable title aside from picture stories, and is also almost glowing. It's obviously an important MacGuffin. Basically, the things that I know about Lovecraft is Cthulhu is a thing. The Shoggoth is a thing. It drives people insane. It's like Victorian, late 1800s, early 1900s era, and the Necronomicon. I also have a cookbook that's like a bunch of weird, horror-themed, Lovecraftian-themed dishes called the Necronom Nom Nom, and it's great. It's funny. August Derleth and the Cthulhu Mythos. August Derleth was an American writer and anthologist. He befriended Lovecraft and published many of his works, although he greatly contributed to the popularization of Lovecraft's work after his death. He is surrounded by numerous controversies. One of his questionable decisions was introducing the good versus evil doctrine to the Cthulhu mythos, and he was a devout Catholic, which contrasted with Lovecraft's view of the world and his approach to cosmic horror. As a result, Lovecraft's work are often misunderstood and misrepresented in today's culture because of Derleth, I guess. It's also worth noting that the Lovecraft was never really interested in creating a mythology, and the term Cthulhu mythos was coined by Derleth after the author left the mortal plane. That's a great way to phrase that. So I'm assuming he wrote like some non-connected, just spoop short stories, and then Derleth is the one who kind of mashed them all up into a big pit of tentacly despair. Oh, well. There was something back there that I could click on. Alright, I guess we're just leaving the Necronomicon there. What do I click on? Bruh, I'm just like walking around this guy's house, so was there any point to me going over here? Or I guess it was the clock. Okay, so yeah, let's head out.
It is at night,
Oh, it's
especially
a flashback
when the moon
to
is
the thing.
gibbous and waning, that I see the thing.
Your walls, man. Your walls.
I tried morphine, but the drug has given only transient surcease, and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave. So now I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
Why is that hyphenated? Also, dude, my dude, what are you doing? Lovecraft hated tobacco, you and me both, even though he used to smoke when he was 12, wow. In his correspondence with his friend, he claims that he quit as soon as he started wearing long pants. He had a very strong opinion about alcohol. As for the matter of drinking, I have never tasted intoxicating liquor, and never intend to, having a strong aesthetic disgust at anything which blunts or coarsens the delicate natural equipoise, I'm assuming, of the evolved human intellect and imagination. Drinking excited my personal repugnance, hence I don't drink. Let the herd do what they will. It's very pompous, even without, like, the voice. Let the herd do what they will. That's great. Lovecraft's great. I am rather in favor of prohibition, the prohibition of any one antisocial force, as well as of any other. That was weird. Again, maybe it's the fact that English has evolved in the last 100 years, but that felt really odd to read. Source, The Spirit of Revision, Lovecraft's Letters to Zalia Brown, Reed Bishop. HP Lovecraft. Cool. Alright, so he's gonna...
Often, I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm.
I don't
a mere
think it
freak
is,
of
my
fever,
dude.
As I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man of war.
Hey, the German jellyfish? Ha! See, it's funny because jellyfish.
This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply.
Uh-oh. I'm gonna take my headphone off again.
I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed.
Hey, it's like after I played Subnautica.
Worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite. I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind. Of a day when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium.
Oof.
The end is near.
Alexa, stop. Oh, jeez, my dude.
I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it.
Wait, seriously? Is there seriously something there? Oh god. Bruh, I just put my headphone back on. Don't. Really? Really, game? You're gonna make me do this?
It shall not find me. God, that hand!
Hey, it's like the room.
The window!
Mobile puzzle game, The Room. Best puzzle game ever. Fight me. Alexa, stop. That was good. I like that a lot. I like Lovecraft stuff. It felt very scary. Maybe I'm not the best person to be playing this. I don't do horror, guys. You'll never find any game scarier than like this or Bendy and the Ink Machine on my channel. I'm not doing FNAF. Not doing whatever the heck else is big these days. But that... Oh wow, I missed a lot of these. Huh. Well, I'm not playing through it again. That was terrifyingly cool and coolly terrifying. I really liked it. I recommend that you check it out if you have Steam. It's free on Steam. But I think I've been recording for almost an hour, meaning this is probably going to be my longest video up to this point. So, with that, I suppose, goodbye, beautiful people. Thank you to the people who made Dagon, and please, genuinely, I'm not going to be ironic and obnoxious this time. Genuinely, please like and subscribe if you like my content. I only have 32, guys. It feels like something that should be fixed. And happy spooky month.